I don't know what it is, but something doesn't really feel right because of the color scheme of the main character to Rezael, because, you know, his color scheme is basically blue, red, and white, whereas Razeal is blue, white, and yellow. Even the official sleeve for the main character of Divine Z is red. Think about it. This video is sponsored by Phoenix Pharos Cards. If you need supplies of singles or splits for Cardfight Vanguard, especially the ones in the video, do check out Phoenix Pharos Cards today, and as a bonus, use the promo code MetaNerd to get an amazing 5% discount. And with that being said, let's get on with the video. The festive season finally ended, and I am here to rush out each and every faded one of DZBT01 as fast as I can. Thank you very much to those that actually went through the length of DMing me on when these videos are going to be out on the channel. I really appreciate that because it just gives me more reasons to push out videos as well as keep the channel going. Thank you very much for doing that. Of course, in this video we'll be talking about Razeal, the boss unit for the main character of Divine Z. Unlike the other Keter's deck that we have currently, this whole boss unit's mechanic is basically just Superior Call from the drop zone, which is quite similar to Angel Feather, but at the same time it's not really Angel Feathery. I mean, sure, the starter and Razeal himself is an angel, I think, but then again, it does not really fit the whole Keter Sanctuary's aesthetic as much. Without further ado, let's take a look at how broken is the divine skill of Rezael, as well as the support surrounding it, making it even more broken. First off, of course, is the Rideline, Petrol of Gusts Ventesta. Although when this unit is rolled upon by Knight of Great Events and Ascensior, call this card to Rearguard Circle and Soul Charge 1. Second seal, continuous Rearguard Circle. During your turn, if you have a grade 3 or greater Vanguard with Razeal in its card name, this unit gets 2k power. Basically, very straightforward. You can just free call this unit by just riding, and you don't really minus yourself the soul count, which is super nice. The soul charge unit can be beneficial in regards to, you know, how good the divine skill of Razeal is, especially the crit. If you manage to soul charge a crit, rest assured that crit will go back to the deck because of Razeal's divine skill. This unit being a 10k attacker or booster is a nice bonus after turn 3, and considering that the whole of Razeal's deck is superior calling from the drop zone, he might not be the priority unit, but of course he is a decent unit to be called because he's a 10k attacker or a booster, which is super nice. It's a very straightforward right line, surprisingly. One would expect a little bit more complicated skills than just this, but I think this works just fine for the first batch of Divine Z boss unit. For the grade 2, we have Knight of Great Events Ascensior. I think that's how you pronounce the name. Although when this unit is rolled upon by a grade 3 card with Razeal in its card name, choose up to one grade 2 or less card from your drop and call it to Rearguard Circle. I was expecting a little bit more than just, you know, call something from the drop when your grade 3 boss unit rides on top of it. You are able to recall a grade 2 or less from the drop when rolled upon by Razeal, which makes it a really good synergy with the, you know, discard to ride from the right deck. Depending on which unit you discard to ride from the right deck, it's going to be really good in terms of board building. As you know, currently aren't that many decks that interact with the opponent's drop zone. It's basically free real estate for a Keter Sanctuary deck because the drop zone is effectively an infinite amount of resources to be utilized, especially in Razeal that superior calls stuff from the drop zone. Any retired rearguard is just gonna go to the drop zone, and if the opponent doesn't have any skills that interact with the drop zone, it's just free real estate. This card is surprisingly really straightforward. I would assume Vaga Dragas is also the same thing, but then again, I could be wrong. It might be much more complicated than what we have currently for this deck. Moving on. Next, of course, is the boss unit, Faded One of Miracles Rezael. Although Vanguard Circle, when this unit attacks a Vanguard, cost Counterblast 1, choose up to 2 cards from your drop with different grades and a total grade less than or equal to the number of cards in your damage zone and call them to Rearguard Circle. Second skill, Divine Skill. Active Vanguard Circle, cost Soul Blast 1, return or critical from your drop to the deck and shuffle it. And this unit gets Drive +1 until the end of turn. Until the end of this fight, you cannot ride units without Razeal in their card names, and you get when your damage check reveal a trigger other than heal. If your damage zone has 5 or more cards, choose a card from your damage zone, heal it, and you lose this ability. You may only use Divine Skills a total of once per fight among all your cards. It's quite a lot to unpack there. To be honest, this is one of the more complicated Divine Skills that we have out of the 4 that was being introduced inside the set. This card basically is a Keter Sanctuary boss that recalls the board from the drop and is basically one of its kind. I mean, sure, the quick start deck able to superior call something from the drop zone, it's only calling 1. This card is able to call 2, which is super nice. And it's kind of balanced by by different grades, as well as you limited to only call equals to the number of cards in your damage zone. It's surprisingly really balanced considering how broken the divine skill is. Divine skill is a little bit on the RNG side, but in my opinion, this RNG is pretty much in your favor because by returning all critical triggers from the drop to the deck is already broken by itself already. But considering that you do get a drive for that turn is also quite stupid, because why do you want to return criticals to the drop zone? Is to dry check it in your triple drive, right? So very disgusting, to be honest. And what's more, returning critical triggers is just gonna increase the chances of you damage check into the critical triggers, which will then be act as a 6 damage heal anyway. So yeah, very scary. This is the first deck that effectively has more than 4 heals after the divine skill. It's really stupid. But of course, if you do activate the divine skill, you will then lose this ability, so it's not really that broken. But having this skill until the end of this fight is like a last ditch effort safety net. One really surprising thing about the divine skill is that if you damage check the OT, you actually go back down to 4 damage, which is quite stupid. It's a really good skill, but of course it is quite RNG dependent, but I think it's really not that bad. Pretty neat new boss unit, and I'm not expecting this level of divine skill complication. It's doing a whole lot considering that the whole Rideline actually doesn't do much. Pretty disgusting boss unit, not gonna lie. Now let's take a look at what are the support cards surrounding this unit. I'm pretty sure they are going to provide a lot of utility, and you know, this is a Keter Sanctuary. Their generic support are just really insane as it is already. First card we have is Gigantech Masher. Continuous Rigor Circle. If your unit was placed on Rigor Circle by the ability of your Vanguard with Razeal in its card name, this unit gets 15k power. It's a very straightforward unit. He is a 28k attacker without personal riding, of course, when you are called by Rezael's skill. Due to the chances of getting crit is really high after the divine skill, it makes this card a really disgusting attacker. Provided, of course, if you do dry check into the critical trigger, this will be a 38k to 48k attacker that is hitting for 2 criticals. That's a big number. But of course, I do think that the grade 2 of the similar skill is much better fit, because that's a grade 2. You can intercept him away anyway. So I think, me personally, this card is a little bit wasted because the grade 2 provides much better value than this being a grade 3. Very sad, but it is what it is. It's a rare, not gonna lie. It's okay, I would say. Next, we have Aerial Sage. Continuous Rigor Circle. During the battle, this unit boosted. If you have a grade 3 or greater Vanguard with Razeal in its card name, this unit gets 5k power. Second skill, Auto Rigor Circle. When this unit boosts a grade 3 or greater Vanguard with Razeal in its card name, discard a card from your hand, countercharge 1, and this unit gets 2k power until the end of that battle. So basically, this is a 13k booster during and after turn 3 when you go into Razeal. Razeal himself seems to have like a counterblast problem due to how many generic cards requiring counterblast, but this card helps with getting a counter charge back. Is just very good and provides a lot of sustainability going into the late game. However, of course, this unit can only boost Razeal himself to get that one counter charge back, but it is what it is in terms of getting back like one of the most precious resources of the game. By being a personal booster for Razeal, this card is a 15k booster, which is just really disgusting. However, of course, in order to even counter charge and gain the 2k power, you need to discard a card, but I don't think it's too expensive considering the fact that you are just gonna superior call that card back anyway. Really not that bad considering how much value you are gaining from Razeal's skill. Not a bad grade 1, I'm not gonna lie. Last but not least is of course the triple R, Knight of Gentle Beauty Nobia. Although when this unit is placed on Rigor Circle, if you have a grade 3 or greater Vanguard with Razeal in its card name, cast Counterblast 1, look at the top 3 cards of your deck, choose up to 1 grade 3 or less card from among them, call it the Rigor Circle, and put the rest on the bottom of the deck in any order. If it is your battle phase, reveal it and put it into your hand instead of calling it. Second skill, Auto Rigor Circle. When this unit attacks a grade 3 or greater unit, if you have a grade 3 or greater Vanguard with Razeal in its card name, cast Soul Blast 1, this unit gets 10k power until the end of that battle. So it's a really nice utility unit that, you know, either helps build the board or increase your hand size depending on when you are superior calling this card. However, of course, in place of that good of a utility in terms of the skill, you are kind of sacrificing the top X number of cards that you can check from the top of your deck. In this case, you can only check the top 3, which is a little bit iffy because you can check into 3 triggers and I don't think you will want to call them out or put them into your hand. Depends on what the top 3 deck is. But then again, if you do get the critical triggers, if you do get critical critical triggers before you use Razeal's divine skill, I don't think it's gonna hinder the deck too much, because once again, Razeal returns the critical trigger back to deck. Pretty neat stuff. Other than providing a lot of utility for Razeal, this unit is a 20k attacker, but it does requires 1 soul, which I think this deck is a little bit hungry for soul. Depends on what other support that you are running inside this deck. You can play this deck as a very heavy soul blasty deck, or you can just divert your attention to one of the 2 resources that this deck has access to. It's a really nice flexibility when it comes to Keter Sanctuary. It is the most broken nation that we have currently in Cardfight Vanguard anyway, so it is what it is. And that is all for this video. Do let me know down in the comment section of what do you think of Razeal. Do you think it's gonna be breaking the format just a little bit, or do you think the RNG is just not really that great to even consider taking the 6 damage early on? Do like and subscribe if you like this video, and of course during the bell notification icon so that you don't miss a video I upload. With that being said, I'll see you all on the field.
Even when you feel low, you can still go. Even when you feel slow, you can still go. Even when there's no hope, you can still go. I never answer to no, man, I still go. Go, go.